What did the Muslims of India do for the world? There's a very long history of Islam in India, as Malik ibn Deenar is buried in India, and the first mosque in India was established in the state of Kerala in the year 629 and still active today. Now, when I'm talking about India, I'm not talking about India as we know it today since the partitioning of 1947, but areas of India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and parts of Afghanistan. Now, you probably recognize much of the things that the Muslims have done in India by their heritage, such as the Taj Mahal, Fatahpur Sikri, Qutb Minar, and the less popular minaret of Jam in Afghanistan. But they had much more than this. So, for example, they had an influence in the cuisine, and even today there's a recognized type of cuisine known as Mughlai cuisine. They had an influence on the clothing and fashion at the time, including the jewellery, which is also quite popular today. They had an influence on the irrigation and waterways as they built the Bagh babur in Afghanistan in Kabul, and the Shalimar gardens in Srinagar in Kashmir. They also tried to understand the people, and Biruni in the 11th century, for example, wrote about the people and their culture, writing about the history of India, and he even learned Sanskrit. The Muslims also had an influence on education. So, for example, there is the Aligarh Islamic University, and Firoz Shah Tughlaq in the 14th century had an influence on medicine. So he established medical centers and hospitals that provided free medical treatment, and he encouraged people to study Unani medicine. Now, in Arabic, Unani means Greek. Some people would describe this as Greco-Islamic medicine, but either way, he tried to develop the medical system at the time, and those who were there at the time kept a record of all the medicine that was available. A bit similar to how you might think of a pharmacopoeia nowadays. They even developed and invented the shampoo. Shampoo was introduced into England through Sakiuddin Muhammad in the 18th century. They had an influence on astronomy, so Emperor Humayun, for example, established his own observatory. Another way that the Muslims had an influence was developing the steel at the time. So during the crusades, they noticed that people had swords that were made of Damascus steel, but the Damascus steel actually came from India, so it shows just how successful the steel industry was at the time. They also developed language at the time, and they developed Urdu language, which is an invented language and is now one of the most popular languages in the world. They even have had many successful Urdu poets such as Mirza Ghalib and Allama Iqbal. During the colonial period, many Muslims tried to resist the colonization, and fought for independence, such as Tipu Sultan, who is also recognized as the Tiger of Mysore. And there were many Muslims who worked closely with Hindus for fighting for independence, such as during the Rising in 1857.